Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a Certified Zentangle Teacher, and today we're taking a look at the tangle Fengle from Zentangle. Now, in the description section, I will have a link to the blog post where this tangle was first released by Zentangle, and so that way you can kind of get the story, plus see their step out, as well as the beautiful artwork and samples of how you can use this. It is absolutely amazing. Now, this is one that I had on my nemesis list. It was one I tried early on and didn't have much success with it. And it was, early on. And so I'm happy to say I think I have got it now. Sometimes it just takes time and doing other things, and then you come back to something and you're like, oh, okay, and then you can build on what you know. All right, this one starts off with a bunch of S shapes. So starting in the middle of whatever you're working on, so just an S shape, and then we're going to turn the tile. I'm going to do 5. I don't think it matters how many you do. Usually my worry is in spreading these out nicely. I found if I didn't worry about it so much, it came off just nicely. Okay, and even if they're not completely even, it's okay. And this is also one of those tangles where I kind of go, fingers crossed. But, and at the same time, trusting that, okay, trust the process. And that as the steps progress, then, at the end, you're like, this is amazing. Who did this? All right. Next step is pick one of the S shapes, one of the spokes on the end, and what we're gonna do, and you might just want to watch first, and then I'll describe it. So I'm gonna try to talk as I do it. We'll see how that works out. Well, let me start with the direction. So I'm gonna be working backwards, I guess it'd be counterclockwise. So I'm extending this line sort of. I'm curving it around, almost like starting an aura, but not really so much. And then merging it into the S shape that I had created that would essentially be to the left of it, or counterclockwise, whichever way you think better. I'm not really happy with the way that one turned out, but at the same time, it doesn't matter. And if your S shape is like this one is kind of like, well, it could have curved over a little bit more, well then, you can do like this. And there you go. It seems like I'm going about halfway. That's what seems to work on the next line that I'm coming to. But you play with it and see, what you like. And there we go. And even from this stage, I'm like, well, I wasn't expecting it to look that nice from what I had started with. This is what's going on in my brain as I'm tangling, even now. All right, next step is this. We're gonna aura kind of this curve, but we're not gonna go all the way up. So I'm starting on. So pick a spoke, and I'm starting on this line, and auraing, this outer shape that's to the left. I'm not gonna go all the way up at all, but come back down like there. Like so, and auraing essentially the curve on this line. So it's almost like if you take off the top part, we're making a little cutout via auraing, and we're going to do that on each side. And this is when go slow. Don't worry about and if you need to pick up your pen after you get this far, and then it's okay. Turn the tile a little bit. And then continue. And the last one. Like so. And that turns out neat. Then, and honestly, so if you look through the samples on the For More Inspiration link, which is the Zentangle blog link, and you scroll down, you'll see a bunch of different ways, as I mentioned, that this could be used. For instance, you could stop here and then have some fun with it. But we will continue because this is the way the step out is. Then we can aura again. And this is just aura-ing that inside. And that's neat. Again, you could stop right here and then do some decorating. And but we're just going to fill in this section that we just aura'd. We'll fill it in solid. You could use some textures if you wanted, meaning like orbs or lines or whatever you want. Could honestly do that with any of the sections. And could I be using a thicker pen? Of course I can. Let me just, oops, sorry for that little shaky. So, here it is. Oh, there it is. I had it handy. Oh, goodness. All right. So this is a graphic 1. As you can see, it's a bit thicker and nice for these fill-ins. Just have to be careful. I want to be careful not to go outside of those lines. Although if you do, you can always just redefine that aura'd section. Just don't go too crazy, because then it makes it more difficult to fix. Sometimes that one I'm going to do with the little one. Sometimes just like the little corner, the little edges, these tips, I would save and just touch up with the 01 which is what I'm using. There we go. Like I said, you can always retrace over. I want to get those. There we go. All right. There we have it. Then the last step on the step out is to aura the entire thing. We'll see how far I get. I think there's a couple places here where I'm real close to the edge, but that's okay. We'll show you how we handle that. And to aura is essentially to outline, or you're essentially like drawing an echo, however you want to think about it. And you kind of pick the distance away that you want to go, work to stick to it throughout, and then and follow the contour of what you've done. That is the game that we call aura-ing. And sometimes it turns out good. I mean, I'm speaking for myself, sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. So what I did here was I just kind of went off of the paper, not worrying about it. It's essentially like the hollow technique. So, not, instead of trying to squish it in, I just went off the page. So if you were working on this with some other tangles, and you had some tangles, say, going behind it or something, you would do the same thing. You would just lift up your pen, don't go over, but go under, and that's the hollow technique. And so this is basically the tangle. So then we can add some shading. And I don't think, on the original step out, she did not add any shading. So I'm going to go ahead and just add my shading ideas. You, of course, can... there's always a bunch of different ways that one could shade. What I'm doing is I'm going on the outside, so looking at each spoke, I'm going on the outside of that, the beginnings right there in the center. With all of the lines, it sometimes it takes a minute. And then also because of the aura, I'm not going all the way out here. I'm stopping right here, leaving the aura part untouched, we'll say. And then we'll spread that out a little bit. Just to give it a little bit of dimension. Like I said, there's many ways that you could do it. I like to do it where these essentially look like they're tucked underneath each other. And so that's why I like to add the graphite in this manner. Oops, look at that. So that it emphasizes that over-under idea. Although in the center, you don't really get that so much because it's just it ends up being more just all dark. But that looks kind of neat, and I think I'm gonna add some, because I did this on the step out and I really liked it. I'm just adding some graphite to the tip and to the left side. I like to sometimes just pick a side, whichever one just seems to either jump in my head or speaks to me type of thing, and then stick with it. And so I'm just blending just so I have a nice gradient, and then bringing it down that side is where it kind of looks like it's blending into the white, making a nice gradient. And like this little short one, it's like, well, it kind of goes to the white, and then, you know, then we have the shading from the edge, or I mean from this edge here, so it kind of blurs in. But oh, see, that looks kind of neat. It looks kind of neat. And then so again, the shading part is a fun playtime, is how I look at it. And sometimes you just have to let it sit, just kind of take a look at it, and just decide, well, what else do I want to do with that? What do you want to emphasize, or what do you want to have? I've been watching some videos. What do you want to have recess? And that's what the graphite does. I always say it pushes it down, but meaning, recess, same thing, where it goes lower. This kind of creates a little bit of a curve. But lots of fun things that you can do with the shading. And like I mentioned, adding some texture to it, using color if you want to. That is all up to you and your creativity, but this is the basics of it. Again, in the description section are step outs, so those are the instructions, and as well as other links. If you want to connect with me, that would be great. I teach classes every week. I have some that once a month that are more of a paid class, and then I have some extra special things. You just never know. So if you wish to follow, I have ways to connect with me there on my website. I am also let's see, if you click on the channel, which I think if you click on my face or something like that, it'll take you to the home page of the channel, and on the cover picture, there's links to Facebook, as well as Pinterest, which I'm just getting in the habit of posting every day to there as well. And I think Eventbrite, I forget there's links there. Anyway, you can check those out. If you enjoyed the video, would love to have a thumbs up. Also, if you liked it enough to see more, would love to have you as a subscriber. Click that subscriber button, and then you can also decide how you want to be notified, if you want to be notified at all, by clicking that little bell that's next to it. And I think that's it. I would say too, and if you have questions or whatever, would love to have that in the comments. I do try to check those frequently to make sure that I don't miss anything. I do have them, just by the way, set to have to be approved, because there's these people that apparently have nothing else better to do than to put nasty things on comments. So I have it set for there now, so that way I can get rid of those before they hit. So that's why I have that approval thing on, because it was a little bit crazy for a little while, and now it's not so much, but just so that way we just try to keep it all nice and clean and tidy. All right, so thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I wish you happy tangling. Have fun with this.